Contested the president's efforts to persuade Republicans to back his $825 billion stimulus package may have just hit a roadblock, at least in terms of trying to make this bipartisan. With us now live from Capitol Hill, Republican Senator Johnny Isakson of Georgia and House Republican leader John Boehner and Eric Cantor are apparently now urging Congress to oppose the stimulus bill if it remains in its current form. Is there a similar viewpoint in the Senate side?
Well, we have met as a Senate caucus working on constructive contributions to the stimulus, and we have our ideas. Ostensibly, Congress for a year has thrown money at symptoms of the problem, not the problem. The problem was the collapse of the housing market, and if the stimulus does not have a focus on motivating buyers back to the marketplace through tax credits and on reduction of mortgage rates, you're never going to really solve the economic spiral that we're in right now. So we're hoping to have a positive impact on the stimulus and really have some fixed housing now, parts of it that will address the heart of the problem.
Senator, in terms of the overall tone that everybody, yourself included, is trying to achieve up there on Capitol Hill, do you think it was wise for Leader Boehner, before he even meets with the president today, to go ahead and instruct his caucus to oppose this thing?
Well, I'm no longer in the House. I have a great regard for John Boehner, but I can't editorialize on something I have been a part of. I will say this. We need to try to come together to do what's right for this country. Sometimes you have to first say no before you say yes.
Oh, then why don't you say no right now?
Well, I'm not ready. I haven't had my meeting yet. Listen, until the door's been shut, I'm willing to sit down and talk.
What do you say to those who suggest that we've tried tax cuts for the upper class, for the lower class over the past 8 years, and it hasn't worked, and that only the government has the capacity to inject billions of dollars in new spending on infrastructure and whatnot? What do you say to those who say, you know what, we've tried it the Republican way for 8 years, it's time to try something different?
Well, you have to remember the tax cuts did work. What collapsed the economy was shoddy underwriting, loose credit, and overspending. That was not a tax problem. That was a policy problem on behalf of the government. And what we need to do is focus on that problem. If you provide a meaningful tax credit to the purchaser of a single-family dwelling that's going to move in and occupy it as their home, you begin to stimulate the housing market and bring back the foundation for recovery. That's a positive incentive, and it's a tax credit that will work.
Is there any incentive to try to help the states? I mean, another part of the argument has been, look, obviously education, Medicaid, it may not create jobs, but may save them because it eases the burden on the states that have to balance a budget. And if a state is looking at, you know what, in order to balance this budget, I have to fire, a governor says I have to fire 10,000 teachers, by giving aid to that state in the terms of education, maybe it saves those jobs. Is there a logic to that argument?
Well, unfortunately, the illogic of it is only temporary, and it presumes that things will get better and the states then will come back and take that over. What does make sense is investing in infrastructure that has a payback. Water, sewer, roads, and bridges has a payback, and it's a capital investment. It's not just a one-time shot. So that's the type of injection at the state level and the local level that makes sense, not one that just pays payroll for a short period of time to make it easier on the state. And in fact, the Medicaid fix is only a temporary proposal, not permanent. We need an investment that brings a return. Infrastructure does that.
Republican Senator Johnny Isakson of Georgia. And Senator, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, David.